ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Now today I'm going to cover a very interesting question from a female subscriber. This lady left a comment on one of my recent videos and I figured I would share it with all of you because what she says, which I'm about to read in continuation, speaks volumes to how young women and men alike are deceived by modern dating advice, which does nothing but damage them and destroys the connection between men and women. Let's get right into it. So this lady, Madison Keynes, says the following. I just got out of a relationship with this guy who was constantly looking for someone else. He was buying girls' pictures online and not ready to settle down. He's lustful. No principles. I'm just wondering though, why is it okay for a guy to sleep with a woman on the first date and he can be of high quality but not a woman? Who has told you that it is okay for a guy to sleep with a woman on the first date and then he's considered valuable? No, he's not. I sure as hell don't consider him value, and God doesn't consider him valuable, and you shouldn't either. This is why these worldly ideologies like red pill and MGTOW are a complete scam, because they deceive young men to believe that, and women too, that only women can be promiscuous, men can't. If a woman sleeps around, it's bad, which is true, but when men do it, that's just okay. No, it's not. Promiscuous men are just as bad as promiscuous women. Men and women who sleep around lack integrity and self-control. That's it. End of story. If you are living this way, I urge you to turn from it. Remain chaste. Practice self-control. Do not give your body out to total strangers. That is what weak-minded and lustful individuals do. Because this lady here, Madison, she's intelligent enough to know that when a woman sleeps with a man right away, she has no value. But she somehow is misled to believe that if a man does it, he's seen as valuable. So I'm going to clear up that confusion for her and for any of you watching. Any man who sleeps with a woman right away, he has no value. Let me put it to you this way. I'm a young guy, right? If 20 or 25 years from now, I had a daughter and she comes home and told me she's dating this guy who wants to sleep with her right away, or he's always hooking up with random women, I would tell him to dump that guy right away. Not only is he not boyfriend material, he wouldn't even make it to husband material because he's promiscuous. And a lot of young girls are not taught how to stay clear from these men. In fact, a lot of young girls are taught that when you meet a guy, you should sleep with him right away or as soon as you can to make him stay. And that is not going to make a man commit to a woman. Not to mention, a lot of women aren't even taught what qualities to look for in a good man, which is why they keep dating the wrong type of men. Just how I have many videos here of how men seem to keep getting involved with the wrong type of woman. Because when you are not traditionally minded, when you don't have morals and principles which come from faith, having God in your life, you're always going to be lost. And this is why I'm absolutely disgusted by movements such as Red Pill and MGTOW that teach young guys to avoid promiscuous women, which is a good thing, but it also tells these men to be promiscuous, to sleep around, to use women, to hurt them, to play with them, to manipulate them. That is disgusting. Any belief system, any worldview that preaches division and causes problems between men and women is not of God. It is evil. Look at what feminism does to women. It creates a double standard where they're teaching women to seek out traditional men that will lead, protect, and provide, but it encourages those women to not be nurturing and caring, to not be housewives, to not be mothers, to be a boss babe, to go out there and be a man in the workforce. It's a double standard. Doesn't end well, does it? Likewise, what does Red Pill teach men? You need to get a girl that's feminine, who doesn't sleep around. She's pure. But you should sleep around. You should be promiscuous and use as many women as you want. Which is exactly what happened to this girl here. She got involved with a guy who was doing what? Constantly looking out for other women, buying girls' pictures online and not ready to settle down. And she's so lost, she believes that it is okay for a guy to sleep with a woman on the first date and be seen as valuable. Honey, let me tell you, no man with self-respect is going to sleep with a woman he doesn't know. It's pretty simple. In fact, let me read to you guys a little section of my book which I had opened just for this video. A lot of men pride themselves on how many women they've slept with and use that to define themselves as a man of value. The truth of the matter is that actual men do not think this way at all. They have self-control and instead focus on creating a legacy. They don't waste their time sleeping with random women they don't care about and women they don't even know. They don't chase after empty or short-term pleasure. In fact, men of high worth are very selective with who they allow in and out of their lives and only give permission to traditional feminine women with modest and chaste hearts to have any access to them. Which is why men who brag about how many women they've slept with, despite the fact that they're taking the low-hanging fruit, are worthless. What sort of man would be proud of laying with an easy woman? It's like picking out a half-eaten apple from a bin. Sure, you can eat, but there will always be flies and a terrible stench to go with it. A man isn't doing anything impressive by sleeping with a bunch of women that have been had by numerous other men before he got there. If you want to do something truly impressive, go for the woman that hasn't been gotten by other men and build a relationship with her. And this is the same for women. To any woman watching, I would advise you stay away from men who keep sleeping with random women, because that is a man that does not care about building a relationship. He's not monogamous, and he doesn't even have the mindset or the self-respect, to build a connection with one woman. He's led astray by his lust. Such women you should avoid, because when you sleep around enough times, you can really damage your ability to pair bond. And this goes for men and women alike. And there's this stigma in society. And a lot of young men, they're misled by pornography and things you see in movies and TV shows nowadays, which tell guys that they're cool when they hook up, when they sleep with random women, like they have something to prove. Think about that for a second. If you're a successful guy, you have a productive life, you're running a business, you have a career, you have hobbies, a routine. The last thing on your mind is to hook up with a random woman who means nothing to you. Unless you're so weak that you need short-term pleasure. Which is why, now I'm talking directly to this woman, Madison, I want you to understand, if a man is of that true value and true worth, then he himself is going to be chaste. He himself is not going to be interested in anything casual because he knows that is meaningless. In fact, it will be hard for you to have any access to him physically because he goes beyond sex. It doesn't mean anything to him unless he's actually built an emotional connection to the woman. That right there is a man worth going for the ladies watching. And for the men, that is exactly the type of man you should aspire to be. Because so many young men and women today are misled by their lust. With girls, with feminism, and with boys, it's red pill and MGTOW, which is disgusting. Both are evil and corrupt. And I'm against all of those ideologies. Because I see the damage it does. And when I'm seeing a comment like this, I know exactly the damage it's done to this young woman. Because she lacks understanding. She somehow believes that if a man is promiscuous, he's somehow valuable. He's not. If a guy wants to sleep with you right away, he's not interested in marrying you. He's not interested in building a lifelong commitment and connection with you. He just wants to use you for self-gain. And then he's going to leave you. And in the process, you will be heartbroken. So if you're a young lady watching, I advise you, do not give your body out to random men, make them wait. Because quite frankly, you're going to be able to disqualify men that do want to use you. And you will save yourself for a good man instead. And for the men, I would say the same thing. There's nothing noble about sleeping around with a woman that, has been had by the men. If you do that, you're weak. You see, a woman that's beautiful, she has choice, she has options. But if that woman has enough intelligence to abstain from pleasure, to not give herself to different men, she is valuable. Likewise, a guy who's good looking, he's going to have choice with different women. However, if he knows how to retain his seed, remain chaste, and doesn't give his body out to different women, he is also valuable. Because only chaste men and women are ever going to know love. Because men and women who sleep around, it's funny how it works. You can just observe through your life people that live that way. Look how hard it is for them to maintain an emotional connection to a member of the opposite sex. It's nearly impossible for them. It's very difficult. Because the Bible says when a man and a woman lay with one another, they become one flesh. We're designed to bond with someone for life when we're intimate with them. We're not meant to join together and be ripped apart and keep doing that with multiple people. You do that enough times, the synaptic routing in your brain is going to change. Your dopamine receptors are going to be fried. It's going to be harder for your brain to form and secrete oxytocin and serotonin when you're intimate. Therefore, you're not going to bond. Henceforth, your ability to pair bond is terminated. Look at the guy she got involved with. He has a good woman. He's in a relationship with her, and what is he doing? He's looking at other women. He's buying girls' pictures online. Luckily, she left that relationship. But it goes to show. Do you think that guy was chaste? Do you think that guy was pure? Of course not. Obviously, he was the type of man to sleep around. And he's very, very lustful. Promiscuous. Which is why men like that, for the ladies watching, you want to avoid. And for the men watching, you don't want to be that type of man. There's this huge misconception that only if a woman is promiscuous, it's bad. But if a man does it, it's cool. It's not cool. In fact, if you're a promiscuous guy, I wouldn't even want to be your friend. I don't even want to be associated with men like that. How weak are you that you just want to have casual sex with women that don't mean anything to you? How empty is that? Because only men that are broken and have serious problems need multiple women to fill the void. No different than a promiscuous woman who needs multiple men to give her attention. People like that need help. And there's obviously a deeper issue which goes back to childhood trauma, issues from the past. Because men and women that are emotionally and mentally stable, that have some form of intelligence, are not going to give the most intimate thing, which is sex, out freely to strangers. That's it. And if you can't see that, you are deceived. So I wanted to make this very clear because I know I get a lot of young guys watch the channel. And if you don't learn to tame those emotions, you can be led astray. And you are what you do repeatedly. If you sleep around enough times, you become promiscuous. That is what you are. I don't care what you think or what you would like to do with your life. What you are doing right now defines who you are. And this is exactly why all of these red pill coaches that are misleading young guys disgust me. Because on one hand, they point the finger and say, look at all these bad women out there. which is true. You want to educate men on the women they should avoid. But on the same hand, these same red pill coaches are teaching those men to be just like the women they point a finger at. They're teaching these boys to be promiscuous, to be hateful, to be selfish, to not be traditional. Likewise, what does feminism do to women? It teaches them that being a wife and a mother is oppressive, that they should be career women, right? It encourages them to sleep around, there's no consequences, to use men, and it changes their mind and their hearts. And if you're a woman watching and you believe that, and you somehow think that you deserve a traditionally minded man who is going to fulfill the husbandly duties of protecting, leading, and providing, but you negate your own, then you are not worthy of such a man. You see, you must become the type of person that your future partner would want to be with. Guys, if you want a godly woman, you must be a godly man. And for the ladies, vice versa. If you're sleeping around or you're living in a lustful manner, you are not worthy of a righteous partner. Because, quite frankly, anyone of the opposite sex who is intelligent enough is not going to go for someone who's living in a lustful way, because they have enough intelligence, self-control, and self-awareness to avoid people like you, and instead seek out someone that shares the same values and outlook on life as them. But when people live a godless way, which is what we're seeing now, thanks to feminism and red pill deceiving men and women, this is why they're all so confused. They lack discernment because they don't have God in their lives. So, with that said, I'm going to leave it there. I think I've made my point very clear. Promiscuous men are just as bad as promiscuous women. Guard your hearts against such people. Very simple. Never allow yourself to become such a person. Right? The value of sex is sacred. It is the union that is designed to bond you together for life with your partner. Not to mention, sex is the inception of life. It is the only way in which life can be created. It is the miracle of creation itself. It's never meant to be something for a one night or meaningless. It's meant to be meaningful and lifelong. If you cannot see that, you just need to pick up a Bible and you need to come to God. That's all I can say to you. So with that said, hope you enjoyed the video. If any of you would like to reach out to me privately, whether it's writing out a question such as this lady or sharing a situation with me privately, the email is down below in the description. Also, if you'd like to buy a copy of my book, Relearning Relationships, which is now out on digital, paperback, and hardcover, the link is in the description, which as well will take you directly to Amazon. And you can order yourself a copy and get reading ASAP. With that said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless all of you and your families. And I'll see you all in the next one.